Hey guys, welcome to the Max Life. So you guys just saw Buttercup go. She is gone, she is gone, she is gone. But I will tell you this, she has gone to a good home. She is going to be a family milk cow to a family who has never had a family milk cow before. So Buttercup is young. As long as she does good with her calving, and the family will just continue to work with her and stanch and train her, they're going to have a wonderful cow on their hand. It's still a little crazy to think she's gone, but we are glad that she went to a good home. It's one of those things where we just couldn't milk 3 cows with, I have pretty much a full-time inside job. Colby has an outside of the job home that is full-time as well. So it really was just one of those situations where that's what was best for us, is for her to go to another place where she could benefit them. Now, Dolly is still right there in that field with the beef herd. She needs to be bred by the bull for her to be able to stay here. Now, if she gets bred within the next 2 months, it should work out for us to where the 2 mamas that are in milk right now will be drying off. They will be going through their non-milking time. Should be around when Dolly has her baby. So that will put us in a cycle where poor Colby won't get much of a break from milking, but we won't end up in the boat like we did last year, where our mamas pretty much dried up at the same time. We went for a very long period of time without milk and ended up having to buy some store-bought milk, which, again, we don't love, we don't like to drink. So thankfully, if Dolly will go ahead and get bred, then that means that she will be delivering when we're drying up. Our other mamas are so close, it won't really matter. And Buttercup was just not needed. She was the link from the puzzle that we kind of needed to take out to make things fit together properly here. But she is going to such a good home, so we are thrilled about that. And really, my chores for today involve walking around in the greenhouse. I can walk in my greenhouse, y'all. So it is still so nice and organized. But just kind of walking around, putting my eyes on some things. I see a couple of things need to be watered. I do hope to get that little piece I was telling y'all about in my last video, so I can start putting some of my stuff up. But I'm going to water. There are a couple of things that needs water. Some stuff over here does not need water. Here were some pepper plants that were gifted to us through the winter from a gentleman who just did not have a place to put them. I actually have, here's one of the tomatoes. Something else I need to do is get the tomatoes tied up. There actually is tomatoes on it, y'all. See the little tomato on here? And honestly, I'm not even sure what variety it was, but now that I was able to come in and organize my greenhouse, get everything put where it's supposed to go, where I can walk in and out, I can easily walk through and check to see what needs water and what doesn't. That is on my list of chores to do for today because it is pretty warm in here. But I wanted to show y'all also what we were able to do. It was actually raining yesterday, but we were able to come in here and get this done. This has always been a troubled spot for me. I'm not gonna lie to y'all and tell y'all that homesteading is just super duper easy and blah blah blah, because it's not. I spent hours and hours and hours weeding this for the first half of the summer, and I had already put so many hours into it. I was completely fed up with it going into the second half of summer, and I said, I'm not spending any more of my summer back there pulling up grass. I really feel like I'm just wasting my time. So sadly, I let this bed go. This entire bed, and I think y'all are probably underestimating how big this bed is, was full of strawberries. But the grass, you can see the grass, and there were some kind of weird little tree, well, they weren't like trees, but they weren't like bushes. I don't even know what they were, but some kind of weird plants that were growing up everywhere. They had millions of beads on the backside. Those spores just planted themselves. Anyway, needless to tell y'all, this whole entire bed got overtaken. I lost probably 80 to 90% of all of the strawberries that I had in here. So what Colby and I did yesterday while it was raining is we come in and we dug up all the ones that were left. Now I do see like this one that we missed, so I'm about to go plant it now. But we dug up all of the strawberry plants, and what we've decided to do is take all of these strawberry plants up. So I'm gonna walk y'all over to my raised beds and show y'all what we did over here. The spot that I just left, we are going to tarp and cover for the summer. That is not going to be an ideal thing for me to try to keep strawberries in an area where the grass grows like crazy. We're going to designate that strictly for fall planting only and open that up when the grass is not completely booming here and trying to take over. So here's my raised bed areas that y'all saw us start putting together last year. Now those are full of rabbit manure that we brought down here from our rabbits yesterday. Hence the reason why you guys see all of the netting up around this area now, because I figured out that the dogs really like to play in the rabbit manure. It has something to do with the scent, or so when they smell it, they're in my bed digging. So we kind of found that out the hard way last year, and what I decided to do is put that netting up. It is literally fenced off from one side to the other, because we already had, trying to be frugal here, we already had all of the netting from when we would rotate our meat birds and our other chickens, our sheep, whatever we were rotating. I already had all this netting. And pretty much since all of the things that we rotate now, we rotate them around in permanent fences now, it allows these to be freed up. So I thought that the best option would be to bring these guys out. So we pulled them all out of the storage, and I wrapped this whole entire section with this yesterday to prevent those two little sillies right there from getting in my beds and digging with the fresh manure. One of the other things I need to do today is, you guys saw me tarp this with the tarp over there that was supposed to be drying out, but then it rained last night, so it's wet again. But some of my broccoli is coming in nice and beautiful here. I have a couple here and like one right here. So I've also got to come out and harvest some broccoli, some of those things that I put some time in setting off to keep the cold from killing that. We also did a lot of tidying up and cleaning up all the stuff that we drug out, picking that back up. Not that it was a big deal or was hard to do, it was just some work that needed to be done. If y'all glance at my arugula, you can see the arugula is already starting to try to go to seed. This right here. To help it somewhat not go to seed, I just snapped that off. I'm really not ready for it to go to seed, but I'm probably not going to be able to do much to prevent it from going to seed, because you guys see I'm out here. It is February and I'm wearing a short sleeve shirt, so some of those things I'm just not going to be able to prevent. And crossing my fingers, praying that last year, this is my big plum tree, lost all of those plums last year. The tree was full of blooms. When I say it was beautiful, it was absolutely beyond beautiful. A cold snap killed all of those, killed all of my blueberries. But this year on my radar, I have cicadas that I'm a little worried about. So that is something else on the radar that I'm just praying will not destroy some of our crops. I have also told Colby one of the other reasons I want to go up in here in some of the areas in my greenhouse, if we need to do things like plant peppers and some tomatoes, some of the things like that, I might just have to plant and bring in the greenhouse so that I can shut it off and keep some of those things out. Now, from what I have seen, that 2 different types of cicadas are supposed to emerge from the ground this year. It is the first time that this has happened in like so many hundreds of years. So that is something else us farmers have to keep an eye out for. One of the main reasons I love to utilize my greenhouse is because if I left all of my pots out over the winter, a lot of these things would be dead. But like my citronella, even though it has gone through the majority of the winter, or what we call winter here in the South anyway, I still have some beautiful green growth on this. This is going to continue to grow, and I will be able to also take cuttings from this in any pot that's bare like this, which there are some seeds and peppermints down in there, but I could also stick a citronella in there. You see that I have some peppermint coming back. I have a stevia coming back. This tiny little plant right there growing off my stevia again. Of course, you see I have the figs blooming, which will grow in the ground soon. I keep things like fennel, tarragon. Tarragon actually does hold up pretty well in our weather, but sometimes you just don't ever know. I had one of my most beautiful and prized rosemary bushes 2 years ago die in one of the frost here. This was a cutting from that, and from that last year I made, thankfully I had already had a cutting from the tree rooted and it is growing all beautifully, but I also last year made these cuttings because of that. So one of the reasons why I like my greenhouse, I'm able to keep things in here, my bay tree, a couple of the things like the bee bombs that I have that I cut back that are now starting to grow back. So just some different things in the greenhouse that I'm able to keep and house over winter. All of my citrus trees, which are now beginning to put off beautiful blooms. You see that, guys? So we are just in the tip of the iceberg here in the South of spring starting to kick off. So we're really trying to gear into that, prep for that, and cut back a couple of things like I will tell y'all I have to do. This is one of my other chores I have on the list to do. This is all ginger. I need to come in and cut those tops back. That is a lemongrass that I need to cut back. So this was actually a holy basil that has died off. Now this will not come back here, so I need to like take this up. So definitely some work needs to be done. We have to start kicking off and preparing for that. I actually have some arbors, so let me show you what I got up here. Arbors with my raspberries going on those last year. Come to find out, my raspberries did not like this spot. So I will have to be moving those around again this year. Where I had them last year, they actually didn't do too bad for as young as they are. But raspberries don't love our heat. So I thought, you know what? There's trees there. It gets a little bit of midday sun. And then when the sun hits down on the other side of the house, it casts a shadow over here too. So I thought, you know what? I'll slide those over in the shade and we'll see if we can get more raspberries this year. That was a bad idea. So those are moving back. But the little arbors that I have built right here with just a T-post and a panel, I have 2 more of those in another area. Again, those need to be taken up. So just some random things that need to be done around the farm and the homestead to kind of start preparing us and helping us kick off for the spring and the springtime. You see that we have some onions over here that are freshly planted from just a couple of days ago, and they are already looking wonderful. We also have some potatoes that we're going to be getting in the ground soon and very soon. For those to grow off, we're big onion, garlic, and potato people. If we eat it, we grow it, right? Especially if it does good in our area. Sweet potatoes are another thing. It's just not time for those yet. Okay, y'all, I've had y'all turned off for a little while. I'm going to show you quickly what I did this afternoon. I was able to get so much knocked out. This looks like a wreck right now, but all of this was asparagus that I moved. I am crossing my fingers and hoping that I just transferred them just at the right time. Some of them were already starting to grow back a little bit But I really needed these up and moved because y'all heard me show y'all about this whole section right here. So I was able to get all of the strawberries up a couple of days ago. Y'all saw where I moved those. I was also able to get all of this this square section right here was all asparagus. I had some lemongrass planted down here. I had a couple of leeks that I dug up from right here, which I'm just gonna go inside and clean up. Also found some random sweet potatoes, so I dug those up as well. We're leaving all of the leaves and the mulch and stuff right here. Now, Colby is all over me because he says I'm taking up all his beds. And we need somewhere still to plant the potatoes in a couple of days. So he says we're going to plant the potatoes, and then when we dig them up 1st of May, which I'm going, the grass is going to like take over everything by then. But he says we're going to plant potatoes here, and then we're going to cover it up for May, June, July, August, September. We'll probably take it off and start our fall planting, because this spot has not been good for me as far as anything summer because of the grass taking over everything. And even though I have a weed barrier here, sometimes my weed eater comes over here and kind of throws seeds right here, and the wind blows them over there, and then the grass takes over everything, and I just cannot spend the time weeding. So problem, I hope, solved by I have taken everything out of this bed, y'all. Most of it I have gone up with, or the beds up there that I can control a little bit better. I just can't weed up there, weed back here, and weed over there like I was doing. It was just too much. So we've already taken that section up over there. We've designated this to a full fall growing, unless Colby puts the potatoes over here. And this section over here is more like my kitchen garden, and I'm going to show y'all what we were able to knock out over there too. My greenhouse door is getting closed back because we have cool nights and hot days, so I like for it to air out some during the day but not stay open at night. Okay guys, over here, that's where I moved some of my herbs from the other bed. This is all turmeric right here that just needed to be cut back. This was some of the lemongrass right here that needed to be cut back. So cleaning up this area over here, all of this was ginger that died off during the fall. All of that needed to just be cut back. And I want to show y'all, I told y'all I was really working on dropping seeds in spots this past year. I had a beautiful, beautiful parsley right here that was 2 years old. It was absolutely huge, that set seed. And I took some for myself and I dropped some, and I want y'all to see this because it's gorgeous. Look at the parsley growing underneath my mulch down here. It is just popping up everywhere. So we're going to keep that covered just for the time being. The mulch and the leaves and stuff is good on the ground. I plan to move even more leaves and stuff in this year. It used to drive me crazy, but the older I've gotten and the more I have realized that the leaves and the cuttings and the pine straw, all those things help with grass some. So that is my goal. From now on, I'm not going in and pulling all the leaves back. I'm leaving the mulch. I'm leaving the pine straw. I'm leaving the cuttings. I'm leaving, you see this right here, y'all? That used to drive me nuts. I would come in, rake all that stuff back every summer, and then guess what would pop up? The grass. So I'm slowly learning better ways to control things down here that make my life a little bit easier in the south. And that is one of the ways, by leaving some of that things, making the things that God gave us work for me. These are the things I brought in today. That was 25 eggs, I believe, that I counted. Here are the leeks I was telling you guys that I dug up, and a couple of the sweet potatoes that I found. So found some of those sweet potatoes. The leeks were really, really nice. They had been there for a really long time. I hated to dig those up, but we just needed to move on. They had multiplied beautifully, but unfortunately, it's just one of those things that needed to be done. Guys, thank y'all for tagging along on this journey. Everywhere from saying farewell to Buttercup and seeing her go to a new farm. We hate that she's gone, but you know, she's going to a place that is going to be wonderful for her. It was a good move for us. We hate that she's gone, but she's going to be well taken care of. And guys, again, thank y'all for tagging along with today on all the... Hold on. And being part of this journey and everyday thing that we do. And the kids have something to say to y'all.
Happy homesteading, y'all.